Estate sale finds. These two stools, check them out. Got them for $20 as a pair, and the coolest thing about estate sales is if you aren't looking for one specific thing or something you saw in a post about it and you're just kind of open to whatever, go towards the end of the estate sale and they just start running down saying, hey, these are marked off. Oh, you can have that for this, that, or the other. You get great deals. These guys, they weren't what I was looking for, but oh, we love them. And I totally could leave them as is. However, I have become a real fan of the natural wood whitewash look. I'm going to sand the furniture now before I do anything else, and I'm going to be using both of my sanders. I've got my cordless that is super versatile, love that, and then I've got my palm sander that is super strong and lasts for a lot longer. Whew, the sanding was exhausting. Waited a day or two before I came back out and started doing the whitewash treatment. So here it is. It is chalk paint, white, 50-50 with water. So half and half, mixed it up, started putting it on. The one thing you don't see here is I made the mistake on this first set of not pre-wetting the wood, just, a sponge soaked with water and wetting the wood down. You can do a wood treatment too if you wanted a pre-stain. That would work as well. It just makes things go on smoother. See, here I actually sponged it down. I also flipped one stool on top of the other to save my back. It did get a little messy, but because it is a whitewash, it's really easy to wipe up and clean. Eventually, the shade moved, and I was now starting to catch myself painting in the sun. You just can't do that, things dry too fast. So I moved back into my back patio or lanai to finish off the other chair. I don't know if I mentioned this, but this is a chair made in Malaysia. And the reason I investigated that was because when I was sanding it, I found that its wood grain was kind of strange. I mean, at first I thought it was sort of an MDF because I wasn't seeing much grain at all. It's incredibly forgiving when it came to sanding. And finally now with the whitewash, I'm starting to see some wood grain. Well, apparently a rubber wood is really popular in Malaysia. It's kind of like their oak. So it does have a different grain than what you'd expect. So just in case you have something that's older and it's in one of these dark woods, flip it over, see if it's from Malaysia, and then sand it down because it's really cool. The only thing I'm concerned about with all of this though is see this little mark here? It's weird. I've sanded it, I've done everything. It's kind of like an oil stain or something, and it's deep within it and I can't get rid of it. So I'm just accepting it as it is, but I'm giving you a heads up that this may pop up for you as well. I'm going to see if maybe doing my wood stain will change that. Now I'd be perfectly happy with just leaving this as it is because I like a good whitewash, but I wanted to try different techniques, so I'm pressing forward. Now if you want to add a glaze, or in my case a wood tint, you need to make sure that you have at least a wax down, if not a polyacrylic down first, because chalk paint is, well, chalk, and it just absorbs so much. So if I tried to put this on or a glaze on over it, it would just right into all the chalk. So it needs to have at least a coat of wax or polyacrylic. So that's what I'm going to put on now. It's time to do the wood stain, and I've got it in a gray, and it's a lot like using a glaze as far as the application and rules of the game. I'm going to sponge it on, wait about 30 seconds, and then use a clean cloth to wipe it off, soft cloth. And I've rolled it up, and I'm going to hopefully do it in steps and pieces so it will be very neat. The game plan. I'm going to go ahead and cut the little bit of stenciling so it's not too wide for the piece that I'm using so it can lay completely flat. Now this is self-adhesive, so it's supposed to be easy to use. I've seen people use the stencil brush, but also now the roller brushes are really handy, so I'm going to give those a shot. So I tried a variety of ways to apply the paint to the stencil, and the stencil brush was first thing everybody talks about. And I gotta say, it worked, but this was my first stencil. On to attempt 2 of 4, used a roller foam brush. And I think if I had a bigger piece to stencil, this might have been the way to go, but didn't really love the results on that. Then I found this little sponge brush, and I thought this one worked the best just because it was able to get a much darker color in there. Now, it was with attempt 3 of 4 that I realized we have a bit of a problem when it comes to self adhesive stencils. It was on my third attempt that I realized wait a minute, the gloss is coming off with the adhesive. And it gets worse. Yeah, I intended that the gloss technique would get protected with the blue painter's tape, and instead, it also took it off. So now it's time to fix this and this on each one. Thankfully, it's a pretty forgiving technique. Just did the same process I did earlier with the gloss. Then I let it dry and it was time to do a top coat. Now, on the top, I used a polyurethane water based, but I did it in a high gloss. I wanted this to be super shiny on the black. Now, on the base, I'm going to use just a matte finish. Again, though, a water based top coat. Here's the polyacrylic matte coat that I put on the bottom. Does it have to be a water base? No, it's just what I like to work with because the cleanup is so much easier. Now, this is going to take 3 coats. All right, going for my second coat of the polyurethane. Going to put on a mask, some glasses, and just do a light sand. And we're talking seriously light sand. This is a 320 grit piece of sandpaper. It's just enough to make that the previous coat that I put on will adhere to the new coat. Just needs a little bit of teeth there. Gonna wipe it off, mildly damp cloth. It is a shop cloth, so it's got better teeth for picking up dust and stuff. But after this, I can go ahead and start applying my second coat. After the second coat, I let them dry overnight. Then I woke up early in the morning and did a light sand wipe down and applied the third coat. And here they are, the completed stools. In addition to being a lovely addition to our kitchen, they have also given me what I needed experience before I go and try and do this same technique on our bedroom furniture. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to The Asking Spot.